Me good?
I can hear you perfectly. Yep.
All right. We're live, my friend. Let me double check the group. Let me jump on the YouTube page also. Let's give some time for people to join us.
Yeah, definitely.
You getting those last minute seller calls in?
That's a title company 2 minutes ago. So
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of. Are you using the microphone? I think there's a little bit of feedback on yours.
no, it's I had the YouTube page open to make sure it was in there. It should be good now.
Okay. Are we good on the YouTube page?
Yeah. Yep.
You see us?
Yep.
All right. What about the Facebook page? You see us on Facebook yet or what? Oh
Yeah,
no,
we're
it's not the Facebook page, it's the group, right?
we're in the group.
It is live on the group.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, my brother. What has been going down with the craziness?
Man, we just been trying to stay focused and keep things as normal. That's the main key right now. I hear a lot of people I'm talking to who are just, if you get wrapped up into watching the news all day and social media all day and hearing all the doom and gloom, you'll think the world is ending. Real estate is done. We've been doing deals on my end, consistently. A few last week. We did a few this week already. We're doing a few, that we're lining up for next week. So the key is just to keep a positive mindset. Take as much time to do this to kind of, stay focused on what you're really out here to do and keep grinding. I know when you're in, you got the mortgage company too, which is a little bit different as far as what stuff that's happening with that, which we'll get into. But I know you guys been trying to do the same thing, correct? Just keep it moving.
Yeah, let me move the studio setup directly to where I'm looking at so I don't look crazy. Um yeah, it's a little bit of the 2008 reminder, 2007, 2008, where the banks started sending out the emails and putting things on pause. I will say this, a traditional lending, the typical FHA, conventional VAs, they're moving along without a problem. Well, there's delays. Number one, there was the overwhelming applications that came in when they thought the interest rate was at 0%. So what happens is
Come out from homeowners, right?
from homeowners, from investors. So everybody thought, all right, cool. The rates are going to drop ridiculously. Let me put in my loan application and kind of overwhelm the banking system right now. Mm-hmm. So the banks are overwhelmed with the amount of applications that came in. And I'll explain kind of how that works as far as interest rates and locking the interest rates, because there's a lot of loan applications that have come in that are not actually guaranteed because they haven't locked in that interest rate. Because what happened is the bank was supposed to, the market crashed. So technically you would think that didn't crash, but it dropped. You would think that rates would follow like it usually logically does. But since this brings a big fear base of what's to happen with the unemployment rate, they actually essentially raise the interest rates to kind of hedge their losses and for future potential risk. So what happens is it's not your typical, oh, Feds cut the rates and then the stock market drops, so that means interest rates should get better. It's actually reacting the opposite. And people are submitting applications and kind of holding for rates to kind of drop back down. But imagine all these banks that weren't staffed for, number one, sending everybody home and working from home. Number two, all the applications that are coming in for potential refinances that are maybes, essentially, because if rates don't go to what people were anticipating, and if they're only looking at it from well, I have a 3.75 that I got a year or two ago or 3 years ago. I want to try to get it at 2.75, and that's the only way that I'll refi. But I'll put in the application right now to wait. As soon as it drops, I'll hit the lock button. That right there is causing a lot of work that there's going to be a big percentage of those loans that don't end up closing. And then the fear based of in a couple months with all the unemployment going on, if we're going to start getting defaults and people not paying their mortgages or people not paying their rent, and then the investors not being able to pay their mortgage because they're depending on that rent check. So that is also causing the interest rates to kind of stay quote unquote higher than what expected. But overall, it's still low compared to usual economic real estate, history. That's kind of what's going on right now on the lending side of things. Now, private money is super conservative right now for the few people that are still lending. They're about 50 to 55%, extremely cautious. Guidelines are now a lot more strict because if they're going to get into something, they're going to make sure that it's a sound investment, even if the market drops. And the portfolio style loans that were out there, like the bank statement programs and the CPA letter for self-employed type people, they're kind of like that middle level between traditional loans and then private money. Those have been put on pause too for at least 2 weeks. They've put it on pause to kind of see. Everybody's kind of like on a let's see what happens type of situation right now.
Yeah, we fell into that. We had some refis being done that were going to be done in a few hours. They got frozen a couple hours before it was time to get them done, so.
Yeah, what happened was we started getting all the emails from funds and hedge funds and private investors saying, hey, put it on hold right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's put it on hold until the news tells us something different. And 24 hours later, it was like, all right, you know what? Let's lend, and this is private money, right? So let's lend, but let's cut LTVs by 5 and 10%, depending on what bucket they fall into. Okay, all right, let's see if we can still, save the pipeline of the deals we have in there if we adjust the 5 to 10%. And literally by the end of that day, it was like, you know what?
Let's just freeze. Yeah, because the first email we got was, hey, the LTV dropped from 80 to 75%. Okay, not a big deal. Then it was like, hey, it might drop a little more. And then it was like, we're on hold until, this thing clears up. So, what happens? I mean, we got to wait and see what's going to happen when everything clears up and it's more of a defined course of action. We might actually see some of these LTVs drop lower permanently. You just have to be able to adapt and adjust,
Yeah, we might get into a 50 to 60% or stay at 50 to 55% for a while. What happens is, from an investing standpoint and from a private money standpoint, what they're worried about is, I mean, you saw the news yesterday that the unemployment page and website and system was flooded with applications to the point that they weren't even able to take on the amount of traffic and the amount of people applying. So a lot of people couldn't even get through to the system. What does that tell us? That tells us that in the next 90 days, we're going to see the ripple effect of a lot of people not paying rents and mortgages. So if a lot of people are not paying rents and mortgages, that might also mean a lot of people are not buying right now. So is that going to bring down essentially property values? Mm-hmm. Is the market going to slow down? Is now sellers going to start dropping their prices because they need to sell and get out of their property because maybe they lost their jobs or whatnot. I mean, look,
yeah. The market shifts from a seller's market to a buyer's market, in a few weeks. Well, that means price is going to drop. We've been going through the last 10 years of where there's not enough homes in the market for buyers, right? Buyers are making 10, 15 offers on different homes and never being able to buy one. Well, right now, if you have no job, if people are scared, there's uncertainty, less people will be buying homes, which means a lot of those homes that, were not there before will be sitting there with more homes coming on. And if people can't pay, it brings the other influx of homes coming on too. So, neither one of us know exactly. I saw a group today saying, this real estate's not going to be affected. It won't be affected. Like, just person after person saying that. And I'm thinking, like, how do you think that when unemployment claims this morning were at 3.1 million, right? Largest in whatever, ever, since prior to the Great Depression. How is there going to be no effect on real estate, right? No effect at all. Everybody's banking on the stimulus packages to save us. We've been through stimulus packages before. They don't really save us. They save the big corporations of the world,
Yeah.
Like $3,000. I mean, that might be one payment, 1 or 2 payments, then they're still back to where they're at. If they have no job, they can't, make their payments. So I know neither one of us know if we're going to hit some huge correction or a recession or, I don't know. I know that uncertainty scares investors, right? And the main thing we're trying to say today is, look, you can't be scared. You got to focus. You got to adapt. If you're a true investor, you got to invest in every market and figure out the best way to attack it,
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. We're talking from the lending perspective and the banking perspective and what they're worried about, but a lot of experienced real estate investors, and that's kind of why we wanted to share the message, and we'll continue to share the message, are chomping at the bit because now we were getting to the point where prices were, creeping up so much that some deals didn't make sense in some markets where 4 years ago, every deal made sense, no matter what market you were. So a couple good things are coming from this if you're a true player or if you want to become a true player in this market. And I think some of the benefits are, if there is a correction, there's going to be opportunities to get really good deals again. And I think the people that don't really know the game and don't have the skill set are going to get out. The people that have been making money for the last 5 years when it was hard to make a wrong move because everything was going up. So no matter what you bought, at the end of the day, pretty much worked out some way. So a lot of those guys are going to now be stuck and they don't know how to adjust and maneuver. So if you're brand new to this, now more than ever, I think mentorship and positioning yourself with guys that really know how to get, essentially, I think the true skill set is how to be able to build relationships with people that are going to be going through a lot of tough times, how to solve their problems, and then how to connect the dot with other people that are ready to make moves. So this is a perfect time to build a rental portfolio. If you're looking for some cash flow properties and you're looking for some good deals, I mean, I'll tell you what, let's think about it like this. You know who's not nervous right now? Everybody who's got rental income coming in. And even though people may not pay some of the properties that we own, it's something that it's a problem that'll be able to be fixed. Eventually, we can get those people, if we can't renegotiate with them and try to come up with an incentive on their rents of being able to start paying something, and basically the money that they're not paying, we can maybe put it on other months and work out a special plan. Eventually, if they gotta go, they gotta go, but we'll get somebody else in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. I mean, this whole year, our whole focus has been cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. I literally told people I felt like I was in a race to this clock, blowing up. Where like, you know what, this market can't keep going this way it is. We've been in it too long. Like, it's been going like this for 10 years, right? So I was on a race to create cash flow for that when this happens, or not saying this is the moment that happens, but if it does happen, right, we still have some income coming in because cash flow is going to save us through, any kind of rainy days. And like you said, if I have rentals and I'm not extremely over leveraged to where my payments are, break even or underneath what the rental payments are. Because if this does happen, rent payments may go down for a minute, right? But then rent payments end up going up in bad housing markets, right? Because there's more renters who end up becoming in the pool.
Yeah, supply and demand.
Yeah, so rents become more in demand, they go up. So if you have rental income, I mean, it's just kind of figuring out how do you look at each property, right? If I have to adjust rents by $100 at each property, hopefully you had a plan in place to do that for when something happened in the market. But that cash flow per month is what's going to really, really make guys who are real investors, not just if you've just been wholesaling or just flipping, it's a different boat. I mean, that's why I don't try to do any flips. I got a flip right now. It was a hotel property on the market that I'm actually selling tomorrow just to get out. I don't want anything on the market right now, right? I want to have everything I have that either I'm selling it with seller financing as a rental, or it's a wholesale deal that I know I'm going to wholesale quickly, but I don't want any kind of rehab flips on the market right now. This is not the time of the market to have those. Yeah. Cash flow, guys who've been buying in cash flow markets, I've been buying Pennsylvania, Michigan. Where I'm buying at, the market can drop. It's not going to really take that much. I mean, there's not much more can drop from where I'm already at, right? If you're buying houses for 30, 40 grand, you lose 10%, 15%. It's not that big of a difference in your price.
Yeah, even if you lose 10, 15 grand on those properties, you got them rented, cash flowing, so you just got to hold on.
Exactly. We've been saying since last year we'll not be touching high-end, luxury properties, because of this right now, because those properties take the hit first. They take a huge hit. We've been saying we wouldn't be doing many fix and flips. We haven't been doing many fix and flips because, if you got 8, 10 fix and flips right now that's trying in the market, now's a tough time. I mean, a lot of stuff can't, even though lenders are still moving, a lot of title companies are on lockdown. You can see a month to 2 months where you can't close a deal. So I think guys who've been focused on cash flow, are going to still be sitting here like, hey, we're going to be good. We're going to see what's going to happen, but we're going to end up being good.
Yeah. Think of it like this too. How many families are going to now sell their properties because either they got gotten laid off or they can't afford it right now because they have to make adjustments. And then how many of them are going to start living together, right? Hey, move in with me. Kids are going to go back to their parents, things like that. And they're going to be renting properties. They're going to be renting houses. They're going to be, hey, maybe people think it's just about downsizing. And I agree with you. There's going to be a lot of people downsizing. But there's also going to be families coming together and looking for homes that they can rent to fit the extra, father-son situation with kids. And we're going to go a little bit old school into the tribal times where families are going to start recovering for the next, couple months to a year to a couple years, depending on how they're being affected and how long this goes. And that drives the rental market.
Yeah, definitely agree. I know a lot of people have been asking about as far as our businesses, because, I have an investment business, a lot of people do, how we've been adapting and making changes, in our day-to-day business with what's going on right now. What are some of the steps that you've been doing in your business?
We've taken this opportunity. I mean, we still got a pipeline that we're closing. We've taken this opportunity to focus on our systems and tighten up on our systems because there's going to be a great opportunity for investors to make moves. We're touching base with all our cash buyers and all our investors and getting them prepped for the opportunities that are going to come. We're testing on it. You and me were on the phone yesterday talking about building essentially a waiting line with buyers and with motivated sellers that previously weren't interested in maybe the offers, but now all of a sudden visiting all those old leads and seeing now what their situation is, and now the offers look sexy, and we can even come in with lower offers now at this point.
That's been my key thing. I mean, as soon as this started turning around, I talked to you, I talked to my other team members about, hey, look, right now is the time for follow-up, right? Perfect your follow-up game. We got so many leads in our system that, we're maybe, next spring, over the summertime, I want this price. Now's the time to hit every single person in your CRM or whatever you're using, to contact your customers and just revisit them, give them a call, reach out to them via text. Just kind of see where they're at, especially your sellers. As far as buyers, I'm doing the same thing. We're reaching out to all our buyers, just trying to see what they're looking for. You know, who's active. You know, we have large buyers lists, but we know only about 15% of those buyers are actually going to be able to buy now. You know, when stuff gets a little bit tighter. So make sure you're reaching out to your VIP buyers. We're tightening systems up. You know, putting processes in place right now. We got a lot of free time on our hand.
Right. But conversations, the relationship building, and the marketing actually doesn't stop. Now,
no.
Do we cut certain expenses and certain things that we were trying out and testing and, hey, let's see if this works or this? Yeah, sure. Because right now there's money in the previous efforts. There's money, like you said, in the leads from yesterday right now. I mean, going back to what's already been paid for, what's already been generated, and what's sitting there is probably a bigger return on investment than testing out something brand new that you're still not familiar with. So I've personally cut back on a few initiatives that we weren't ready for, that we were just testing out. But at the same time, I'm still testing regular lists that we had already paid for, revisiting them. We were talking about yesterday when we send out a text message. Are we going to be sympathetic to the situation? Are we going to?
Yeah, and I said my text messages have been the same they have been before, but one thing I've adjusted is I'm focusing strictly on non-occupant homeowners to my text blast right now, right? Because that's just for right now. Because I don't think a homeowner at this moment is thinking about moving anywhere, right? You really can't move anywhere, right? So I'm focusing strictly on investors, right? Who might want to sell that rental with the tenant in there because they're afraid the tenant can't pay rent, right? They might have a vacant home or somebody just get evicted or a vacant home. So I'm focusing a lot on those, those homeowners right now because I feel like it's a higher benefit for my company than, texting a homeowner who's sitting here worrying about how to pay their mortgage next month. Hey, you want to sell your house? That's not what we're focusing on right
now. 100%. People that do not live in the property is a great target market. I think we pulled a list for targeting people that have no equity in their property. So even if they want to sell, especially if the market takes a downturn, that's going to set up great opportunities for some creative financing and some potential cash flow. So I think that's also a very good target market. And then people right now in the middle of probates and liens and some type of financial distress, especially now more than ever, if they've lost a job, if anything, they are definitely going to be looking for some quick cash. So that's the positive of all this. Like, if you don't know how to get in this game, talking to people like us to helping you out, literally, we're going to get to a place where I think you can just post on Facebook and your local groups and your social medias and your LinkedIn and whatnot, and just ask if anyone said, wanting to sell properties, especially investment properties, you're interested in talking to them. And just by doing that, you're going to be generating leads. And if you don't know what to do with that, come to us, come to somebody that does this and partner with us, and we'll be able to walk you through that opportunity. And that's as simple as posting and then having conversations and then connecting us, and boom, you're in the game without knowing you're in the game.
Yeah, that's key. I mean, like you said before, relationships, right? If you don't know how to navigate creative deals, right, you've only been wholesaling, find someone who knows how to do creative deals, because creative financing, creative real estate is going to be in high demand right now. I'm telling you, we've been talking about being your own bank and seller financing, sub-2, since the beginning we started the show, because we told you, become a true investor. So if you've only been doing one thing, you don't know the terms, how to talk about that, find someone who knows what they're doing in that area, find the deal. I'm partnering with the guy right now in Harrisburg. We're partnering on the Subject 2 deal. It's not his specialty. He's been wholesaling. He's been calling me up saying, hey, how can we make this deal work? We're partnering on the deal together, right? Partnerships are key right now. If you're an investor who can find deals, but you don't have any money, right? Go find someone who has a bankroll right now who wants to put money to work but can't find deals, right? You be the bird dog. Go find. That's how I got into real estate in the first place. I was a real estate agent bringing REO foreclosure properties to investors who had a lot of money, right? So go find you some of those guys who are going to start buying, because the guys who have money, who have cash, who have private rooms right now are going to start buying. They're not going to stop, right? This is the time that they've been for the buy. You got to find those guys and girls and link up with them.
Yeah, there's people moving their money out of the stock market because it's taking such a hit, and they're looking for a place to put it. And we have cash flowing opportunities for them. So just you bringing a buyer to the table, like that's your way of starting to get into this game or adjusting, like you said, of whatever they're doing. Like now more than ever is the time to build the relationships with possible buyers, have the conversation with them of exactly what we're talking about today. Let people know that it's not gloom and doom. The opportunities are there. It's going to be a chance to build wealth, really, for your family. And for a lot of people, listen, you just get a handful of deals over the next couple years, and you're set up with your retirement. It's not. It doesn't have to be. Oh, you got to close 20 deals a month. You literally do 5 deals in the next 2 years, which is not that difficult to do, and you can be in a situation that, God forbid, you don't have anything else but Social Security income. Boom, all of a sudden you got your properties, or you have mortgage notes that are paying you because you were able to structure some creative financing on deals. Like there is a ton of opportunity to set yourself up and not find yourself like a lot of people right now who are worried because they had one source of income. And then they got laid off.
Definitely. I mean, you'll hear us say all the time, my biggest regret in life right now is that during 2008 to 2014, I didn't keep all those homes I was selling to other people. Like all the guys I sold them to, they got tons of cash right now. I was just trying to sell them because, I didn't know. I would have kept every single one, So right now is the time that if you can buy some homes, buy them, keep them, sit on them. You might have some tough times here and there, but if you can sit on them and hold them, you've already seen what's going to happen, right? If we have a correction, which I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was before. We're not to that point yet. But if we have a correction, it always goes in the cycle. If it drops, buy, hold, watch it come back up. This is people, this is our age, our generation's next chance to be able to get in on that generational wealth transfer for sure. Another thing I want to say too is, like, we have gifts. If you guys are out here, you're true investors. You're really out here helping people, which is what you should be doing, right? The money's good, but we make the most money from helping out the most complex situations, right? We have gifts right now that homeowners are going to need, right? Homeowners and home. I'm selling a house tomorrow in Harrisburg, PA. The buyers are literally staying at a friend's house, right? Because they couldn't get a deal done. They've been looking for homes for 6-7 months, right? I had a house that we bought 2-3 weeks ago, that honestly right now it's a hotel property. I don't want to hold it. I can put that money to better use, right? I have better use for that money if I sell that property, right? So we're selling the property for a small profit, but we're helping out a buyer get into a property that was homeless pretty much. They couldn't find a property in the market anywhere, and then we're going to be able to take that money to go out and buy some more properties for us, or we're structuring deals with homeowners who had properties that they were supposed to sell last week and they can't sell them now, right? Let's be honest, a lot of wholesalers were just wholesalers. They couldn't buy the property. So there's a lot of homeowners who are like, hey, I'm stuck with this house. I need to sell this house. I definitely can't have 2 mortgages now, right? And we're stepping in there and figuring out a way to help them out. So like, use your skills, use your talents, and actually help people out. People are going to need our help. Right now is the time to put that stuff to work.
Yeah. And if you don't know how to solve that situation, reach out to us, reach out to other people that do this. And really, it's about problem solving, like you said. Here's also the good news, and why I kind of agree with you that no matter how bad the unemployment situation gets, we will recover faster than last time. It's because there is liquidity out there. There is people waiting to make moves. The banks are strong right now. Even if they start taking a hit, they're going to be looking to partner with people to not get caught in the same situation that we did. Luckily, I think, and I posted a video today, like 2008 is still fresh in a lot of people's minds. A lot of us went through that. A lot of us have that experience. A lot of us know how to take advantage of it now. The banks now have people that manage those situations back then, 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago. So back then it was kind of like, man, we hadn't dealt with something like this since 1920 type thing. Sure, we go through recession cycles, but it was nothing like
the housing part. Yeah, the housing part hadn't been seen in decades,
Exactly. So that gives confidence. That's what I was kind of sharing, that there is liquidity out there. So it's going to be a faster recovery. The advantage of building relationships, like you said, is going to be huge as well. I think if you focus on building the relationships where you have people chomping at the bit to take advantage of this opportunity, and then you build relationships with people that are in problems or that are in situations that are looking to unload their houses and unload their situation. I mean, that's it. That's like the formula.
That is. I'll go back to my example. I was a realtor who was working for a brokerage that sold REO properties, foreclosure properties, right? Banks had more inventory than anybody else in the whole country. Then I found investors who were looking to buy properties right now, right? I found the source of the properties and I found the buyer, right? Find a source and find somebody who wants that source, that product, and just work that the whole way through this. You know, you can definitely make this happen. Stay lean right now. I mean, I know a lot of people who have had, huge systems and companies and employees. When stuff like this happens, you see why it's good to kind of stay lean, to automate everything, right? I mean, we both are business, if I can go business from A to Z, and I've always tried to stay a little bit lean. Of course, we hope that everybody can keep paying their employees, as long as you can. Because, I mean, the people who really get hurt are the employees, but you want to stay lean as far as don't go out and try to add anything on right now. Don't add any more systems. Don't add, any more than what you can take. Try to do as much as you can as far as learning your business, learning more skills, and staying lean until you see exactly where we're heading.
Yeah, I know that I'm still sending out marketing. I know you're still sending out marketing. I know we're definitely, like you said, not flipping any properties right now. So if you're asking if now's a good time for flipping, definitely would tell you that you might want to chill out on that. If you're in the middle of a flip, let's finish out the flip. I'm in the middle of a flip right now that we were in the last parts of the inspection. And if we get stuck on that property, luckily it's going to be a great rental property. So sure, my cash will be tied up. I will probably pull money out and let's say it's at 40 to 50% financing that I'm able to get out of it. So I'll pull as much money out of it as possible. Whatever my monthly payment is, it'll be able to be covered in that property. And that's how I was planning. If worst case scenario, I mean, obviously I didn't predict the coronavirus coming into the situation, but I said, if the market shifts while I'm in the middle of this flip, and this flip took a whole lot longer than expected. I know we did a show on it, and I'm over a year on this flip due to the city and some delays on our part. And I knew it's a great rental property no matter what. So worst case scenario, if I get stuck, which right now might be one of the outcomes where I can't flip that property, even though hopefully we'll still be able to pull it off. But if not, then it's going to become a great cash flow property until it recovers. And then I'll decide if I want to unload it or not. I'll pull money out, as much money as they let me right now. Let's say I could get 50% of my money back. And then the rents will cover, like I was talking about 2 seconds ago. And I'll sit on it and I'll hold until I think there's light at the end of the tunnel and I have a little bit more options. But no matter what, I'm not going to lose.
Yeah, and what's key with that is what we've always been talking about is when you're buying these properties, right, have multiple exit strategies, right? So you bought that flip knowing if I can't flip it, it can still be a rental, right? So you're good. I mean, you already prepared for that, right? And so, and especially right now, and if this market starts to shift, when you're buying these properties, right, you have multiple exit strategies when you buy it up front, right? Don't just bank on one thing. Make sure you can do multiple things with it. If you're thinking about, hey, if I'm a tired property to wholesale it, right? If you can't find a buyer from it, make sure you can close on it and do something else with it too. You can get a bad deal quickly for tying up properties that can't close. So yeah, I mean that's a good thing. I mean that's like the same one I had for the hotel. If I couldn't flip on the market, I could do it as a rental or finance deal and be perfectly fine with it.
some of the conversations you've been having, let's say in the last 48 hours, with people calling back when you do text message or when you're doing the follow-up marketing to conversations you had previously. Why don't you give people a little insight of what those conversations motivated sellers, and then the transition over to the buyers that are potentially interested in your network? Give us a little bit insight of what you're hearing on your end.
Got it. So I'm still getting a lot of seller calls right now, right? The first thing I had to do was call my pending property sellers, right? Because those are sellers right now are the most on me about, hey, what are we going to do? Can we still close? So I had to reassure all the deals we had pending that, yes, we'll still be able to close, right? Right now, for probably a week or two, it's kind of tight with me shutting down, if figure out the best way to do that. But we're still going to close on your properties. All my buyers who are hounding at me trying to close still. So my pipeline is still full, and I've lost nothing from my pipeline. Again, we've been getting, still a good amount of calls. I haven't actually been able to focus on what's going on with coronavirus because I've been working so hard still. My phone's ringing off the hook, right? With sellers calling, we've been texting every single day.
Are you seeing sellers in the conversations a little bit more motivated and a little bit more freaked out, or?
Yeah, so I was gonna say that right now. So the first thing we're getting is, some of the sellers are wanting to sell that are calling, but we're not doing showings, right? So Michigan and Pennsylvania right now is on lockdown, right? So realtors can't show property in either state. So we're kind of not doing showings. So we've been preparing them like, hey, look, we can't see the property right now, right? If you can send us pictures of the house, right? We'll look at the pictures, we'll do an evaluation, let you know what we think. But if not,
little FaceTime.
Yeah, do a video, something like that. If not, we're gonna have to be on hold as far as actually wanting an appointment until we see what the next step is when we can do that. So we're getting some sellers that didn't want to sell before. I made a post in our group, I think yesterday. College rentals right now. I've had 4 or 5 calls from landlords who own college rentals who didn't want to sell before, who now the students are at home.
That's huge. That's huge right now, bro.
So I said yesterday, look, college rentals right now is a great lead source to hit up and see if they want to sell their homes, right? Because they're selling these rentals where the students might not come till next school year, right? So I've gotten 4 calls from them, so they've definitely been giving me a call. The other sellers, definitely the sellers who are looking to move. Again, most of these have been investors. They have not been homeowners. I don't think homeowners think about selling their house right now at all. They're just trying to figure out how can they stay in their house.
Yeah. College towns right now are probably going to be.
I would go after them. Again, solve the problem, right? Solve the problem. I mean, so a lot of college investors are saying good, but there's some of them that just bought a house. They bought a house or 2. They did the BRRRR method, right? I don't know. A lot of people did the BRRRR method, might be sitting kind of tight right now. They put all the money out. You might need to be able to figure out a way to help them out.
Yeah. And then your buyers, are you seeing buyers kind of sitting on the fence right now, waiting to see what happens, or?
I'm actually not. And again, I think this is more about market driven, right? Because I'm in cash flow markets where, most of my buyers have been picking up the bottom of the barrel anyway. They're out there like, hey, let's go. I need deals. I've actually gotten, most of my buyers have been like, say, hey, I need deals. What do you have? Are you still finding deals? They're checking on with me to make sure I can still source them deals because they want to go buy deals now. That's been my experience with buyers. But then again, if you're in a different market, it might be different.
Yeah. I mean, what people need to understand is that if you had $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in your 401k, you might now be down to like 20, 10. I've seen people take easily, 30, 40, 50% hits on their retirement account. In the markets that we're talking about, and if you guys have those funds and you want to do a deal, reach out to us. We're talking about you could have a cash flowing property managed for you at $30,000, $40,000 that are paying $850, $950 a month, solid. And even if rents have to adjust a little bit down to $750 while you weather the storm, you're still making money. You still have an asset. You still control what's going on there. You can. My issue with the stock market, and I've played with it to learn it, to I put a couple $1,000s in it to just see how it works and kind of get education through actually being in it. But I'm not in the boardroom, and we've talked about it a bunch of times. Like,
you have no control.
I have no control of what Cracker Barrel, or I thought today in the news, all Waffle Houses are going to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a publicly traded company like Cracker Barrel and all these other places, like what's going on with the aviation stock? What's going on with
the hotel stocks, the REITs? I mean, they're getting killed. I don't know what's happening today. We bounced up some, but I feel the same way. Our stock can go to zero. It really can. Right? That house has a floor. I like that floor. Right? It's not gonna go to zero. And if worst case scenario, if money's gone, I'll hoard or I'll barter my house for some food or some clothes, But that stock can disappear completely.
And I remind you, like you said, when the real estate crashed in 2000, 2008, it became a renter's market. So rents actually, because people grouped together, families started living together, people downsized, people got out of their houses and started renting. So rents do not take the right now. We might have an issue with evicting some of the people that were in these markets and that are getting laid off in these industries that were getting laid off. But once we handle that, then you will be fine and you will recover and you'll be able to sit there and hold. I mean, I got more than 5 or 6 people right now that their business was completely affected because either they were in the restaurant business or they were in the travel industry, and their only method of surviving right now until they figure out plan B is the rents that they're collecting from the investment property that they have. Whether they have a studio or they have multiple, that's what's getting them by. And I've gotten plenty of calls thanking me for helping them get into these investor properties, thanking me for preaching to keep 6 months reserves for every single rental property, which is key because they're coasting for at least the next 6 months, no matter what happens, because they were making those moves. And that's what we can do right now as a community and as investors is provide that in the future for many people taking advantage of the opportunities that are currently right now, focusing on cash flow markets, like you said. Right now, maybe Miami isn't necessarily moving, but Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody asked me today, they said, "You doing deals in Miami right now?" I said, I wasn't doing deals in Miami before this, for this reason. I just was kind of, I didn't like how heated the market was, So, but Michigan, Pennsylvania, other parts of Florida are still moving along, pretty well. So, it's all about the market. I do a lot of seller financing too. So I have a lot of seller financing buyers, right, who have pending deals right now where title company open or not, I can still close that deal, right? We own the home. We're doing a land contract between us and the home buyer. So, we're still closing those deals like we were before. It all depends on what market and what niche you're in. If you're doing some other stuff in some higher end markets, you might be kind of shut down right now.
Right. I think going back and listening to our podcast, I was talking about it today that we've been laying the groundwork and the foundation for people to start getting in and start looking at creative financing, start looking at how to pick up deals, start looking at how to become a true real estate investor. And now more than ever, going back and listening to the shows and getting yourself in position and reaching out with the right team and the right mentors. And if you play it right and you're able to bring those relationships together, like we've been talking about it today, and you understand that this is opportunity, cash flow is king, and you aren't scared to go out and beat that drum and have these conversations and build these relationships, you're going to be good in the next 2 to 3 years.
You will. This is an opportunity. This is a definite opportunity for those who can take advantage of it. If you can block out all the distractions in your head right now, right? We dropped the Mamba Mentality episode yesterday. We filmed that a few weeks ago, but we dropped it on our podcast yesterday, which talked about building the mindset, right, to be able to overcome any obstacle. Right? That Mamba mentality where it doesn't matter what's going on. You have to focus and figure out exactly how to plan what your attack is versus any kind of situation, And I'll be honest, Kevin knows this too. I've been waiting for this market to correct. I'll say correct. I don't want to say anything that's, offensive by it, but for the market to correct, because I know the opportunities that are bountiful when you're in a market that corrects, right? When there are more opportunities as far as more deals out there, prices drop a little bit. right? That's the market where we can actually create the wealth for our families that, changes us for the rest of our life,
Yeah.
But, a lot of investors have been talking about, I can't wait for the market to change. And I see a lot of them right now scared to death, right? So if you've been saying that, make sure you have the plan in place to take advantage of it. And if you don't, reach out to us. We were seasoned in the last market correction, right? I came into real estate in 07. It was high and it dropped like the next day, right? Kevin was doing loans before 07 and rolled it out through 07 through 08, and he's still here, right? So we actually built our businesses during that time.
Yeah, and this is where you could build a business, or you could at least build your financial freedom, your retirement, your backup. Like, again, I said it earlier in this live, the people that are not freaking out right now are real estate investors. They are not, even though they may be taking a hit on rent, and then that's a hiccup, but they know in the end they're going to be good. They're not freaking out like the employees that got laid off, or that business owner that only had that restaurant and right now doesn't know what their future is going to be. So in what we're about to do, and we're going to help out, our way of kind of helping out the community, and me and Jay have been talking about this. If you're really interested in whether you're an experienced investor or not, in getting involved, like we said, college towns right now and no equity and all the strategies and the markets and the way we're pulling the list of people that might be in these situations, and the conversations we're having with both the people that are in these probate situations, in these college towns situations. And then we're also having the conversation with our investor partners and how to structure and how to be able to play Monopoly in this game and collect as many properties. If you're interested in working together, brainstorming, being a part of this, growing as a team, really getting out there and hustling, because like you said, with the mama mentality, now's not the time to be watching Netflix all night and eating all the potato chips you bought because you're sitting on the couch not working. This is the opposite. This is now when you work the hardest,
work harder, yeah.
Put in the grind, because there's going to be deals to be made. We'd be happy to partner, mentor, brainstorm, and hit up these markets, because there's going to be plenty. And manpower and people that know what they're doing, people that have good ethics, people that really want to help people and connect the dots, because that's really what we do. We help people and we connect the dots.
Definitely. Yeah, buddy. Well, one of my partners texted me this morning how he said he's on Facebook and he's seeing people just saying, what's the best thing to watch on Netflix right now? Like Netflix, I'm watching Netflix maybe at 9 o'clock, my wife before I go to bed, but I'm working from the time I wake up, to the time I shut it down, man. I've been working nonstop, working, fixing things, and then also finding out more education. Me and you were always trying to, higher our education level too. So right now, there's actually, for a lot of people who just started this business, it's kind of a reset where you can kind of sit back and be like, hey, let me figure out how to do creative financing, subject to how to structure a land contract, right? I got some time on my hands, so take advantage of it.
Sure. The CRM, let me optimize the text message campaign. Let me put in the ringless voicemails, the direct mail, whatever it is. I mean, I've literally been having optimization conversations with all my agents, with all my investors, of optimizing their marketing, optimizing their systems, optimizing every single thing to be able to come back and kill the game.
Yeah, our CRM was a mess 2 weeks ago. It was, you had a bunch of sellers in there with no name because it was just go. We had a call with me and my partners in Harrisburg, and we cleaned that side of it up there. And today we had another call this morning, and we looked at the CRM. It was beautiful. So I mean, this is not the end of the day. I mean, also I go outside. We're in Miami, so we're blessed. I feel sorry for you if you're in a cold state, but I go outside every day with my kids. There's kids running around on their bikes. I mean, yeah, like God told you everybody to calm down, relax, get back to what is important in life, family, friends, and just enjoy what's out there, So it's not the worst thing in the world right now. It really isn't. But you got to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. Real estate investing is going to be on and popping. commercial lending for business loans and things like that is going to be on and popping. Where if you're interested in learning that game and working with me, give me a call. The commercial financing is going to be on and popping. Private lending will be on and popping once they get a grip. Because even if it's at 50%, when the opportunities come, people will be making the moves to be able to, even at 50% or whatever it ends up being. So I'm not worried. I haven't laid off my people. We've tightened up. We're getting on point. We are getting ready. We're still doing deals right now. Like you said, there's still cash flow opportunities. There's still lending opportunities. So get with us. Listen to the show. We're going to be filming a lot more episodes of the current environment so you can get plugged in. And again, if you guys want to work closely with us, hit us up in the DMs.
All right, guys. Yeah, go out there, man. Shut up and invest. Keep a positive mindset. Find your way to navigate these waters because there's going to be a lot of deals in the street. A lot of deals.
It's going to be real good.
All right, guys. All right, Kevin.
Take it easy, brother.